All right. Yeah, everything's plugged in. The other day I didn't plug my microphone in. It's sitting on the floor. But today, let me see if it's up where it, yes it is. Yes it is. Good. Okay. Make sure you got everything set before you start the video. Just like I did right now. Okay. A while back, I'd say this is at least 2 years ago, I made a video on being conscientious, such as when you do something, make sure you're not going to be fucking shit up for people. And I think an example I had was of my uncle when he plowed snow for me and he plowed stones in my yard. And they were not large stones, they were the small ones. And there were so many of them, I decided I'm just going to have to weed whack that area that I normally mowed with a riding mower. And he was the type of guy that, kind of like my grandpa, they would do shit. My grandpa would do shit. He'd give you a gift or whatever, and he'd just give you something, whether you wanted it or not, and then he'd kind of stand there with that. Okay? Now, I can kind of understand if a woman or a child does that, and I'm not disparaging women. Understand, women, they have emotional, they like attention, they like, they're wired differently than men, but if you're a male, anybody that hands you a gift and expects you to like it. I never handed anybody a gift and expected them to like it. It's like, oh yeah, this is for you. If they don't like it, okay. One thing I was thinking about today that I never did and I should have. I should have included the receipt in the gift. Now, of course, the gifts that I got for people were what they asked for. So I don't just go out and grab shit and then hand it to people, because people like that need validation. Okay, and speaking of validation, if anybody watching this if anybody watching this video is the type of person that needs validation, you need people to accept you, say thank you, excuse me, mostly, did I do good? That kind of shit. That you got to get out of that. You got to stop that. And that's kind of, you're putting, and if people know this, you're putting undue pressure on them to make you feel good. So you're a self-centered prick, which is what my grandpa was. If you would have this house I live in, and you'd see some of the shit that I gotta fix, the guy only thought of himself. When I was a young kid, I thought he was awesome. When I bought the house and I got into fixing shit and trying to figure shit out, and I still don't know stuff. We have the main box is right over here on the east side. The box and my holding tank for the well are over there on the west side. Okay? And what I was planning on doing was putting a box outside and hooking it up to the receptacle out there, because I have to put a bulb, an incandescent bulb, down in the where the well pump is, so it doesn't freeze in the wintertime. And that's pretty much all you need. Just need like a 60-watt bulb, and that keeps it nice and warm down there. It actually, sometimes it will grow grass down there in the wintertime. because it's that warm. Because with the warming up and cooling down, it kind of gets warm, and then the grass will grow. But anyway, I wanted to put a box on the west side of the house, which would be in the garage area, so I'd have that receptacle so I could plug that light in. So I did what any normal homeowner would do. I cut the power by shutting the box off where my well pump is. So I shut the well pump off too. So I went outside and I put the box up on the wall. And when I took the electric wire from that box inside and I put it into the box outside, it arced. Okay. So I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is, and I didn't have it hooked up from the top. I had it hooked up from the bottom, which I guess I messed up. Well, no, I didn't, because what I did then was I went over to the next box and I shut the power off there. Now, my God, the power shut off from this one. It's still arced. See, my grandpa set shit up. My grandpa knew how to do a lot of shit. He was a machinist. He built this house by himself. And it is kind of offset. It's kind of, you can see where it slopes in some areas. And the kitchen, he put the kitchen in by himself, and the counter is on an angle, which isn't good, because any water that runs off on the floor, and if you don't realize it, you find out if you're walking in that area. But he did a lot of stuff that was very self-centered. He didn't care. My grandma wanted linoleum in the kitchen, so my grandpa decided to put it in. You should have seen that shit. He put the linoleum in, and when he got to where the counter was, okay, the bottom of the kitchen counter is on the floor, he put pieces that big and that wide and just nailed them in. It looked like shit. I ripped it all out. Was it last year? Yeah, last year I ripped that all out. I'm planning on tiling the floor. That way, I mean linoleum, I ain't going to put linoleum in. Or carpeting. When I put carpeting in the bedroom, I'm going to have someone do that. I have, with my knees, I have problems with pinched nerves. Now, I don't have any problem lifting weights or walking or anything like that, but when I kneel on them, I remember it. But anyway, he did shit that was just, he didn't care. He didn't care about the future. And what really got me irritated today was last week I had a week off from work. Great. I didn't have any problems last week. I did a lot of work, got a lot of shit done, and I didn't have a hitch because I used my head, okay? I used my critical thinking, common sense skills, and I got shit done. I mean, it was an awesome week. I hated the fact that I had to go back to work. But when I went back to work, I thought, okay, this is going to be a good week. This is going to be a good 2 weeks, and I have another week off. But this is going to be a good 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm making the money I want to make, but the people that run the place, and if they watch this video, I might not have a job. They'll probably get me in the office and they'll, we saw this video and you were kind of disparaging and you said stuff about us. And I'll say, yeah, where did I make that video? Well, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. If I made that video in my house, you need to come to my house and bitch at me about it. Because guess what? I'm going to be going home and making another video about why people should just shut the fuck up. Yeah, I can be polite. I don't go off normally, but sometimes I just like telling people the way it is. And anyway, the way I grind castings on a belt grinder, and then I use Dremel tools. We call them air tools. And this job I'm on, I can make 170% on it. It has a good rate, so I can make 170% on it. And I did. But if you work at a place that's a manufacturing place and you have to, say, air tool shit, Dremel tool shit, or work on it and grind it and polish and get hunks and shit out and sheeting off of it, you probably know what I'm saying when I say that we got people that can fix this part here is bad. They fix that, and now this part sucks. And that part, and this part. So they cleared this problem up, but now we have 3 more problems. Because they don't have to do the job. And that ain't an excuse. It's only an excuse when you're a friggin' loser piece of shit. There's an 80-20 rule. Okay? And as far as I'm concerned, the 80-20 rule only applies within a factory to workers. Because when it comes to management, you either have a 100% rule, meaning they're all a bunch of losers, or you have a 99 and 1%. Okay? The 99-1 rule, where 99% of the management ain't worth shit, and 1% is, which means, yeah, this company I work for is just, the quality's getting horrible. But I decided to make a video and just rant about, just think about how your job will affect someone else. If you're here at the beginning of the production, and this person here is at the end of the production, and you don't give a flying fuck because the boss doesn't give a fuck, and maybe you're buddies with the boss, and that's another thing. If you work at a place and you're friends with the boss, you're an asswipe. Okay? Because you're one of those pieces of shit that needs to be friends with somebody above him so you can get special treatment. Because that happens at every company. And you go, well, that happens at every company. That's not a fucking excuse. That's bullshit. I'm going to get my Thor's hammer out here. Okay? I'd like to take Thor's hammer and hammer the shit out of some people. But be, like I said in that other video, think about how whatever you do affects somebody else. Now, even if the person's an asshole, try to do it so you set an example for that person. And if that person just continues to be an asshole, then find a way to be an asshole to that person. We had cleanup crew years ago that decided they're not going to empty the trash cans. And they're not, and anything that's on the floor that is, say, scrap metal and whatever size, this big or that big, whatever you had to chip out with a chipping hammer, they're going to take that and pile it on your table. That doesn't work with me. What I did was I took all the trash cans and I emptied them in one big pile. And then I took all the sheeting that was on the tables and threw it all over the floor. The next day when I came in, the trash cans, all that pile was gone and the sheeting was gone. They got the point. So, because eventually, if you are an asshole and you don't care because, say, you don't have to do the job, what goes around comes around. And you are the type of person, if you are that kind of asshole, that will cry and whine about it. Well, I don't know why this happened to me. I don't know why they did that. They're an asshole. No, you're the asshole and you got what you got coming. So that's pretty much all I have right now. I have another. I was planning on. I know a little bit about video editing, but I have a problem. I don't know how to get video clips. Like if I want to clip from a YouTube video, and I know YouTube has a clip thing, but I don't really understand that. I'm trying to learn it, so I'm not saying I don't have a clue. I'll figure it out eventually, but if somebody's watching this video and you know how to do this, like take a video, just a clip from a video. I don't know, maybe like say 60 seconds, and add it to your video project that you're doing. Like then you can make a transition from that video, you add it in there. I don't know how to do that, but I was planning on doing that with a video I saw of this cop who stopped along the road because there was this guy walking along the road, and it looked like a guy was hitchhiking. And he got out of the car. He asked him what's up and what are you doing, and the guy really didn't give a good answer. And then the cop got out of the car, and I guess there was a cone that was down the road, and the cop said something to him about, did he move the cone? And the guy's like, no. And then the guy started walking away, and he put his thumb out. And this cop was a fat fuck, okay? What is it? What is it with these fat ass cops? I don't care if you're sitting in your car driving around all day long. I don't give a fuck if you're sitting at a table. There's no excuse that your fat ass can't get in the gym and start working out. Well, I'm lazy. Well, if you wouldn't be eating all that fucking sugar all day, donuts and cake, and you're eating a sub from this restaurant and crap from that restaurant, no wonder you're a fat fuck. No wonder you can't. And the training. My God, do they have any training? They don't have any training. These guys can't. Now, not all of them. There are cops that are in good shape that drive around all day and stay in good shape their whole career and can take people down because they know martial arts. And I think all cops should be required to have martial arts training to some extent so that at least they can, because most of the people they're going to come in contact with have no training at all. They watched a boxing match or MMA and they think they know what the fuck they can do, but they don't. So if you have enough basics, you can take these people down. But anyway, this cop got out of the car and went after this guy. This guy's walking down the road, and he grabs him, and he, walks him up to the car, and this guy's resisting, and he's saying, stop it, stop resisting, and you're under arrest. And the guy's telling him, you don't want to do this, and this cop just could not subdue him. This other guy, who was half this cop's size, was pretty much just wiry, just moving around, and this guy couldn't do anything about it. Then all of a sudden an off-duty cop comes along. He's wearing t-shirt, shorts, and sandals. And he comes up there and goes, all right, you're under arrest, put your hands behind your back. And this guy stops, and he puts his hands behind his back, and as soon as this other cop grabs him, he starts fighting again. And as they're fighting a little bit there, this other cop, the older cop that came to help this cop, says to this fat cop, get your taser. Get your taser. And he was getting kind of like, he's wrestling him, but he's not in control because he seemed desperate. Get your taser. And I'm thinking, can't they control? Are they emotional? What do they go home at night and watch Hallmark movies and eat ice cream and cry? And he was a fat ass. He wasn't fat. He was big, but he had a belly. When the shirt went up, he had a belly. So, but anyway, this fat cop goes to grab his taser, and he has a hard time getting it out because his belly's in the way. So as he's getting it out, the guy that they're trying to subdue and arrest kicks out and kicks a taser away from this fat ass. the fat ass reaches down and grabs it and tases himself. You hear it, the electric of the taser. He's tasing himself, and as he's walking toward this other cop who has a hold of this guy cop reaches out and touches him and goes, ah! I mean, holy shit. The incompetence of some of these people. And the guy that they were messing with, there was no reason other than like Cartman in, what's that show? South Park. Cartman in South Park. I am authority. That's pretty much it. And this guy was probably the size of, I am authority. And that's how it was. They have this, I'm authority. And then they make a complete friggin' ass of themselves. So I don't have that clip. I'm going to put it in the description. Well, what I'll do is I'll put it, let's see. I think it'll be up in this corner. I might be wrong, but I'll put that video up in that corner. So you can watch that Keystone Cop bullshit. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I just wanted to rant about this. People that don't have to do a job, or they don't think. When I do repairs here on my house, I'm thinking of the person that's going to buy the house. And maybe that person will tear the whole inside out and redo it. Great. They can have it, do what they want. But I try to think of how I can do shit that it's not going to cause them problems. It's like, well, why did he do it this way? This is going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah, I know. I'm dealing with that now. But I'll deal with it, and hopefully the next guy that buys this place won't have to. So think about that. Think about that the next time you do something. If it's going to affect somebody else, ask yourself how you'd like it if you had to deal with a bunch of bullshit. So that's all I have for today. And until next time, this is David Kramer, and this is Kramer Unstuck.